Welcome to Why We're Fans. I'm Duran, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Gennaro.
In all of our episodes, we cover the past, present, and the future of all your favorite NFL football teams.
We love hearing your stories, talking the NFL draft, and reminiscing about the good old days.
If you like the same, be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this episode. And leave a comment below if you want to answer any of our questions.
Follow us on Twitter to stay up to date on our latest interviews. And like we always say, win or lose, we're all fans. Enjoy this episode.
And welcome back to another episode of Why We're Fans. I'm Gennaro. That's Duran right there. Duran, how's everything going today?
Good, man. I'm glad we are back recording. We kind of took a couple days off, but we're back at it. We got more teams to cover.
I definitely got more teams to cover. I'm trying something new today. I'm standing. You know what I mean? I need to get my legs loose. Feeling pretty good about that. Excited about the team we're about to talk to. As you can see, our guest, Kurt Haumesser. What's going on, Kurt?
Guys, I appreciate you having me on. Anytime I get a chance to talk Bills Mafia, I will. I love to spread the positivity, so I'm glad I'm here. Thanks for having me.
I really wish I bought a table so I can jump through, man. I'm pretty excited to talk about this team. You guys uncrowned the longtime champs, New England Patriots, and you guys are the champs right now. I think it's going to be pretty hard for them to take that belt. Excited to talk Bills Mafia for sure. Why don't you plug any work you're working on, where everybody can find you? Have at it.
Sure. Yeah. You guys can find me on Twitter at Kurt, Kurt, Haumesser, Haumesser 88. All your Bills stuff, anything. Hopefully I can make some of your listeners some Bills fans here. But working for Buffalo Rumblings, part of SB Nation, doing a podcast with Primetime Sports Talk and everything in between. You can find me there.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Pretty excited, man. Let's do this. You drinking on anything in particular?
I got a Buffalo native beer here, Labatt Blue. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but it's a Buffalo. Everybody from Buffalo lives and dies by it. So cheers to you, gents.
Nice, man.
Duran,
what you got?
I got good old Cooperage Dankstelline double IPA from out here.
Okay. Let's go. I'm drinking actually a special one. It's a collab beer with Sonoma Springs and Still and Hops. Used to be our Friday hangout pre-COVID, me and Ryan just a cousin's day out for sure. And they collaborated with Sonoma Springs Brewing called Fuck Cancer, the West Coast IPA. All the funds, pretty much proceeds and everything go to the brews out there because they both actually overcame colon cancer. So I think that's awesome. So with that, being said,
give them a round of applause there. I love it.
Great one.
Wish we had a soundboard so we can just insert that.
Yeah.
Before we get started, I just want to know, both of you guys, I haven't talked to you about it either. How you guys feeling about this 17th game being thrown in just recently? And what are we going to do with these all-time stats, these single season stats? How's all this stuff going to break down from now on?
That's the reason why I'm a little hesitant on it. It's awesome. We get more football. We get another game. We love it. We love more football, but it's also, look at the history of this league, and it's kind of not, it's just going to be changed. It's going to be different. But the only other thing that I would have maybe asked for is another bye week, because these guys are playing their asses off every single week, going as hard as they possibly can. And they don't get an extra bye week. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's the first year doing it. So maybe they'll fix it up in the next couple of years, but more football. Can't complain, guys.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. More football as a fan perspective. I think that's awesome. But also thinking about the player's perspective. I know my brother's, studying about, becoming a physical therapist and whatnot, and how the body recovers. And I agree with you, man. I wish they have like a second bye week to help those guys recover. Mm-hmm. Just listening to an interview today with, Buccaneers linebacker. How come the name is blanking?
Levante David?
Yeah.
He was on Pat McAfee show today.
Okay.
Shout out to Pat McAfee and the boys. He was just pretty much saying, man, whatever they got to do to play more football is something I love. But at the same time, he wish he got a bye week. And that's coming from a player. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to stats and everything, I don't know. You can't really compare those to the legends and everything now. Like, it's got to start on its own because they have that extra game now. So,
4,000 passing yards used to be a big thing. Now it's 5. 5. I don't think it'll make it to 6, but I think there'll be a lot more 5s. Of course, we know, just like Derrick Henry hit the 2,000-yard rushing type of stuff. Is that going to be more prevalent? I mean, those staple numbers that used to be, thrown out there just seems to be rising and rising each year. And who knows if they'll even hit that 18th game. I mean, that would be crazy.
The records are going to look weird too. I'm not. I like the 10-6. It's crisp. It's clean. Now we're going to get 11-6, and it just seems weird to me. But it just takes some getting used to, I guess.
Who's going to be the first team to go 0-17? I want to know that.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if we're going to have a team next year, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe somebody will surprise us.
You never know, man. Shit. Well, all right, man. We brought you on to ask you some questions. We're not going to grill you, man. We're not going to ask like, oh man, do you remember this stat? Whatever. It's about your team. It's about your fanhood, man. So I know you're excited about talk about Bills Mafia. So you ready?
Absolutely. I'm ready, guys. I'm very ready.
All right, let's kick things off. We want to know how'd you become a member of the Bills Mafia? How did it all start?
I don't think I had a chance not to. In Buffalo, you are born into it if you're from Buffalo. And kind of a funny story. When my mom was in labor with me, I'm an August baby, so August 21st, there was preseason football going on. So, my mom was in labor for a long time. I took a while to come to this world. My dad said, let me just sneak out into the lobby. The Bills are playing the Redskins in preseason, so I got to check the score. So he kept running out into the lobby and checking the score of the preseason football game. So, like I said, I don't think I had a chance not to be a Bills fan, and I'm very happy that I was raised this way.
That would be me, man. I'd be going out there looking at my phone. How are the rookies looking?
Yeah, exactly. The third string linebackers that aren't going to make the team. Maybe.
Exactly. Well, we know your dad's a fan. Does it go back one more generation? What about grandpa?
Oh yeah. I got a big family, so everybody in the family's involved. My dad's had season tickets since 1988. Same seats. Beautiful. Him and all of his friends have been going. So he's been bringing me since I was probably around 10. So we're through and through, no matter what. Whether we have a 17 season playoff streak of no playoffs, we make it through. We finally got our quarterback. We finally got our team. So it's a lot more fun now than it was, say, 10 years ago.
Hell yeah, you got yourself a California kid out there, man.
Yes, exactly.
I love when we find a season ticket holder. It just seems like they have so much experience. As G said, we're from California. Man, if we were to come out there for a game to visit the stadium, you have any tips, any advice? Parking, food, eating.
Do we bring our own tables to jump through, or is that provided?
Yes, you do. But some people do sell them. I have seen people have 10 tables, 10 tables like lined up along their car. $10 a table. Take it, smash it, do whatever you want with it. But no, you guys definitely, if you're a football fan, if you're a sports fan, you need to make a trip. Put Buffalo on your bucket list of sports trips. Emirates Stadium. It might not be, the SoFi Stadium out in LA, but it's a fun place. It really is. I mean, the tailgates are next level. As everybody knows, Bills Mafia does not mess around when it comes to tailgates. But I would recommend, you got to come early, come get the wings. You got to go downtown, get some wings, get some beers. If you're wearing another team, don't worry about it. Bills Mafia won't beat you up about it. They'll just ask you a bunch of questions and then try to convert you to a Bills fan.
So it's not like the black hole over there in Vegas, or used to be Oakland, man. They won't fucking rag you for being
Philly.
I went to Philly probably 4 years ago.
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah.
My God. Do not wear your other team unless you are ready to just get pounded on. Yeah. The Bills lost that game, and guys were like in my ear right behind me, just pounding on me. It was a little ridiculous, a little annoying. If you got any Philadelphia fans listening to this, tell them to tone it down a bit.
Tone it down.
Well, it sounds like you've been to a lot of games. Do you remember the very first Bills game that you attended?
I don't remember the first game, but I do remember like the first memory that kind of stuck with me. It was Roscoe Parrish. He was wearing number 11 for the Bills. I don't remember the exact year, but I remember Roscoe Parrish. Mm-hmm. He returned a kick. It was the first time I ever saw somebody like take back a kick. He jumped into the crowd for a big celebration, and they gave him a flag at the end of the play. And I don't know, that just sticks with me because the stadium went nuts. He returned a kick, and then a flag, and the stadium went even crazier because they gave him a flag for it. I thought it was hilarious. But that's probably the first. I don't remember my first game that I ever went to because I'm sure my dad probably brought me when I was a toddler. But
yeah,
you know, it's I keep all the tickets from every game that I go to.
That's
I keep
awesome.
them all, so I'd have to go back and search for the first one. But
Just yesterday, we were talking about how we wanted to do like a draft about everybody that went to the U. I know Roscoe Parrish went there, and how fun that would be. I mean, they got so much legendary players that went there, dating all the way back to Warren Sapp, and even before him was Michael Irvin. But yeah, man, that's great. So I'm just curious. So you're an August baby, and you said that your dad was watching the preseason game. Yes. Did he have a jersey ready for you? Out the womb, or?
I don't know. I don't think so. Not that I know of. I remember my first ever jersey that I got was a JP Lossman jersey.
Oh.
It was my 7th birthday because he wore number 7, and I remember that jersey. I got it. I wore it 7 days out of the week. Yep. And then I got silly putty all over the front of it. And I ruined it because it got all stuck in the jersey and everything. But I think I still have it somewhere. So I think that was probably my first Bills jersey. But I would not be surprised if my dad stuck a hat on me or something as soon as I popped out.
That's awesome, man. That's sick.
What's your other memorabilia stuff? I mean, it sounds like you've been a fan for a long time. Do you got helmets? Do you got autographs? Do you got stickers on the car?
I got everything. I'm just looking around my room right now. I got pennants. I got autograph. I got a pretty cool. It's autograph. It's a whole kind of my background on my Zoom here is the whole Ralph Wilson Stadium that it was then. Signed by Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Hell
That's my dude.
Fitzmagic, baby.
He was the man in Buffalo. He was the first real quarterback that the Bills had. So I got that. I got cards. I got pictures. I got a Marshawn Lynch signed mini helmet. I mean, I'm hoping Josh Allen's probably going to be the next one in my collection. It's a little pricey right now, but that's what you get when you got an MVP candidate as your quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to know. I know Buffalo loves their Bills. Are there any town traditions? Do places shut down when the Bills are playing? Is there anything crazy like that happens that stands out to you?
The entire city on Sundays doesn't shut down, but it's all Bills. I mean,
you got to make money.
Yes. I mean, it's literally, it's cool because, you think of the big cities LA or even maybe New York. People go to the game. They're like, I got tickets to the Jets game. You want to go or whatever. Mm-hmm. If you have tickets to the Bills game, you're going to the Bills game and you're getting at the tailgate at 8 a.m. You're going all day. It's not just let's blow off a Sunday and go to the Bills game. It's, I got tickets to the Bills game. Let's go to the Bills game. I mean, even when the Bills were winning 2 games a year, I mean, people still went there, partied their asses off, had a great time at the stadium, and they continue it. Now it's even more fun now that we got the wins, but it's a citywide thing. I mean, it's really, it's awesome to see, the entire city just buys into it, no matter how good, no matter how bad. It's a lifestyle. It's not just another sports team that we got. I mean, the Bills are Buffalo. Everybody loves the Bills here.
That's awesome. Do you have a game day tradition? Do you always have to go to the game, or do you have to go to a certain spot that sells the best wings and beer, or do you watch it for yourself, live tweet? What do you do?
No, we got for I think since my dad started tailgating there in 1988. It's an old it's still going on, but it's an animal hospital, and it's just down the road from the stadium. The guys save spots for us. They put cones in our spots. They know us. They give us a discount for parking. They're like, hey, come on in. So they let us park there, and we break out the grill, break out the table, break out the canopy. We always make sure that we as soon as we get out of the car, we crack a beer, we say cheers, we say go Bills. Then we just go on our day, and it's usually we get there around 9 a.m. and game starts at 1. So it's a fun tradition. I mean, we got probably 20, 30 people that go in our little tailgate group. So it's fun. I mean, when I was growing up, a lot of the guys that we go with, there was 2 high schools that I was debating on when I was debating on high school. We had guys from both sides. So they were both kind of trying to convince me to go there. I mean, we're all close knit. It's awesome. I mean, like I said, guys, you gotta make it to a Bills tailgate. I'll invite you. I'll make you a burger. I'll give you a beer. We'll do anything.
Yeah, is that what we're cooking? Is it mainly burgers, or got some brats or hot dogs? What do you got on the grill, man?
Actually, one tradition that we do every year when you play the Dolphins, somebody in our tailgate makes fish tacos because
Hell yeah.
Dolphins squish the fish. Technically, they're a mammal. I get it, but we make fish tacos. We do that up. We do everything. Last year we played, or what was it? 2 years ago we played Philly. We had Philly cheesesteaks. we usually try to make it something about the team, you know, but we mix it up.
Hell
You know,
yeah.
I think we always have like burgers and hot dogs, but then, you know, we have like a specialty. Sometimes people make wings, they like deep fry wings and they bring it. It's awesome. The food is next level. It's not just, you know, chips and dip. It's everything. They go all out.
Oh, I'm vaccinated, baby. I'm coming out there, man.
Yes, let's go. Come on. I'll meet you there next year. We'll have full stadium.
Hell yeah, man.
When you're not at the game, you're at home watching it. What's your setup like there? Do you like to watch it alone? You got a couple buddies? You with the family?
I wish I could put up a video on my screen right now, because we go to my uncle's house, and my uncle, he's with my dad. You know, they go way back to childhood friends, and he's got. I'm not even trying to be biased here. He probably has the best man cave that you will ever see in your whole life. I mean, I can't even imagine the amount of money that he poured into it, but he's got a full like wooden bar that's just beautiful. And he's got every inch of the wall has some kind of memorabilia. It's not all Bill stuff. It's, you know, stuff from his childhood and his favorite players. And it's like the Mecca for Bills fans. Like, I wish I could just bring in like a bunch of Bills fans and be like, come look at my uncle's basement, because this place is just awesome. So we go there for the away games, and we hang out there all day, and it's quite the adventure, but it's a good time. I miss it. I wasn't able to go last year, obviously, because of COVID, so I had to take a year off. So it'll be good when we can finally get back there.
What's the name of the man cave, man? Does he have a name for it? I know my buddy's got a man cave. He calls it Crease Tavern.
Okay, I don't think he has a name for it. We just call it the man cave. But I'll have to get on him. I'll have to name it or something. Put up like a nice sign or something for it.
There you go. Yeah, get that engraving on wood.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So is he the biggest Bills fan, or did you take the crown? Who's the biggest Bills fan in your family?
It's me. Yeah, it's definitely me. I mean, he might have the longevity on me, but I think I got the fandom on him. So I don't know if he's listening to this. I'm sorry, Uncle Kenny. But I think
hey, shout out to Unc, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Next generation coming up.
Yeah, exactly. I'll carry the torch for the friend group there.
Yeah,
love it, man.
yeah. That's it for me, G, for the start. Unless you have anything else.
Yeah, I'm just curious. What was your favorite away game? It sounds like you went to Philly.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite away game you went to?
Well, let's see. I went to Philly. I went to Cleveland. I went to Pittsburgh. Yeah, I went to Pittsburgh last year for that. I don't know if you guys remember the Sunday night football game, Bills Steelers. That was when the Bills clinched the playoff spot. I mean, it was my dad and I. It was the morning of. It was a Sunday morning, and we woke up and we were like, because we're about 3 hours from Pittsburgh, and we were like, do we want to go? I mean, we could clinch a playoff spot tonight. We need to go. So we were like, you know what? Screw it. We ate our breakfast and we were like, all right, let's buy tickets. Tickets for like $60. We went, we sat in the nosebleeds. There was tons and tons of Bills fans there. It was awesome. I mean, they took over the whole stadium. It was pretty cool.
Oh man, that's awesome, man.
I know it was awesome. But what do you got? I see a Dallas hat. Is that a 49ers Jerry Rice shirt? You got 49ers and Cowboys. Is that what you guys are rocking with?
Yeah. Our childhood was very interesting, man. Like I can never watch a game when, you know, our teams played against each other. Cause I mean, when we played little league football together and our moms were the loudest, and we're far away. So we can hear it still. Just imagine being right next to them, watching like their favorite teams. Right. Like his mom's a huge Emmitt Smith fan. So whenever Emmitt ran for a big one, she's in my ear. I'm like,
that's awesome. I love it. I do like when families are splitting. It kind of makes a fun little story there. But like I said, Bills Mafia runs deep. If you're from Buffalo, you're a Bills fan. Yeah. You're excommunicated if you're not a Bills fan.
Oh man, I got half my family being Raiders fans.
Yeah, we got Raiders, we got Cowboys, really we got split. Niners.
Okay, wow.
I think we even have Pittsburgh in our family, right?
Got some Pittsburgh going down too. Yeah.
Makes an interesting Thanksgiving dinner when the turkey bowl's going on, huh?
Exactly, man.
I love it.
I'll tell you what, when the Bills played Dallas on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that was Thanksgiving.
Durant was a little quiet that one. I mean,
that was a brutal one.
Kind of loosened up.
My house, I don't remember the last time my house was that loud. My house was bumping for that Thanksgiving game because I was home for that game, so we were watching. It was a good time. But no, it's a very fun time to be a Bills fan. We went through 17 years of a playoff drought. We went through. I can't even count on my fingers how many quarterbacks we've had, how many head coaches we've had. So we're on the rise, and it's very fun to be on this side of the couch, you could say.
Yeah, that was the Cole Beasley revenge game.
Exactly.
It was.
Yeah,
I love it.
The thing about that is Dallas never had a chance. I mean,
hey, what's his rapper name?
Oof.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't listened to his music, but people say that he's actually like pretty good. I haven't listened to it though.
Yeah,
Spits hot fire.
Yeah, I forget. Yeah, he spits.
I'll have to check after this.
Yeah.
All right. So on to our next section. We usually like to guess here. So we like to guess your favorite player of all the Bills of all
Bills
time.
player
Of all time for sure. Because we had a fan that was a fan of the Jaguars. His favorite player was actually Joe Montana. So Joe.
Okay.
But all right, yeah, Duran, why don't you kick it off? Why don't you list your favorite player and your reasoning why?
You seem like a young guy. I mean, I think you didn't really get a chance to see, of course, the O.J. Simpsons, the guys back then, the Bruce Smith. So I'm going with I'm going with Kyle Williams. To me, he is Mr. Bills, and that's the guy that I remember in recent times.
That's a good guess. No, I just barely missed out on the golden years, the 4 straight Super Bowls. So
yeah,
I mean, with my guess, it's got to be the all-time sack leader. I think he has 200. It's got to be Bruce Smith. I mean, I'm cheating here because like on your banner, on your Twitter feed, Bruce Willis, front and center. And
you're smart.
I myself, I'm an 88 baby, so I don't necessarily remember a whole lot of Bruce Smith, but going back and watching, I'm going to be honest with you. It sounds super nerdy. It sounds super dumb, but I'm watching Little Giants and seeing this guy pop that football. And I'm like, yeah, who's that guy? And I remember my uncle saying that's Bruce Smith. I went and looked him up, and I still look him up to this day. Being that big and that nimble, I'm saying Bruce Smith.
That's a good guess. I didn't even think about it with the Twitter banner, but no, it is not Bruce Smith. It's not Kyle Williams either, but I would put Kyle as my number 2. I'll be honest. So you were the closest. I didn't expect you guys to guess it because it's kind of a low key name. Fred Jackson, number 22, running back for the Bills.
Yeah. Duran, you should have guessed your gut, man.
I brought him up before we started.
Yeah.
Okay. Fred Jackson is probably my favorite. I mean, he never, led the league or did anything too crazy, but he was always just, in the dark times of Bills Mafia, he was always the bright spot, kind of like Kyle Williams, the guy that I kind of latched onto. So Kyle was a close guess, but Freddie J, number 22. I still got a signed jersey from him. He's the man. I love that guy.
I love the number 22. That was my number when I played football. But we'll dig in a little bit. Fred Jackson, 8-year Bill, like you said, he didn't have any Pro Bowls, no All Pros, but of course, fan favorite with Bills fans.
Came out of Coe College too, so he was a no-name guy in college. Came out and just earned
undrafted,
a spot.
right?
And
undrafted.
Undrafted.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually just looking at Fred Jackson before just for this interview, but undrafted Coe College. He played indoor football. He played NFL Europe before coming over here. It's like, if there has been a longer journey in the NFL, I want to see it because most guys are like, oh, I'm a JUCO transfer. And no, this guy did it. This guy did it.
And the cool thing too is, a lot of guys when they're done and retired, they want to move down to Florida. Oh, Freddie stayed here. He raised a family. I think he's got like 5 kids. He still loves Buffalo. He always tweets about it and always, he's always posted about it. So gotta love Freddie.
Good for him.
It lists his number. I mean, I'm looking at Wikipedia. It lists his number as 5, 23, and 22. And it says he went to Sioux City Bandits and then Rain Fire. And I know our boy Jimmy Tomsula coached at Rain Fire, so I'm not sure if they cross paths there. Yeah. But it is something a little off topic here. It's something that me and Duran were talking, the single digits. How do you feel about that?
I love it. I love it, guys. I come on. I mean, guys in college wearing like a wide receiver wearing like number 2 or something. I think it's awesome, man. Stephon Diggs was just tweeting about it the other day. He was thinking, he's like, should I change my number to a single digit? And then he tweeted out something like, nah, all you hard workers used your hard to earn money for a number 14 jersey. I can't change it. But no, I think it's awesome. I give them the creativity. I mean, the NFL doesn't really give guys a lot of chances to, be creative and wear cool sleeves or cool colors or whatever. So this is a good chance to, be unique.
Yeah, the game has just changed too. How many wide receivers we see, how many DBs we have, how many running backs. It's like, of course, Kansas City is the one that proposed the rule because they have a ton of those. And I'm sure every 80 number is taken between their wide receivers and their tight ends. It's like, let's expand these guys. Let's get them in those. And the single digits, like you're going to have 2 3 quarterbacks on your team at most on an active roster than a kicker and a punt. It's like, yeah, let's use those numbers. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. I can go on for days about this, but you know what? Let's go back to Fred Jackson. Is there a Fred Jackson moment that stands out the best for you? I mean, you got a signed jersey. Did you get that in person? Did you buy it?
Yeah. He actually, I had the jersey. I bought it, and it was just a blank one, and I wore it all the time. And he actually had a TV show in Buffalo while he played. It was, I think it was like Monday nights or something, or Tuesday nights. And he would just kind of recap, the game, and it was just on local TV, and it was at the mall. They filmed it, and they like sold tickets, or I think they had tickets for free. You could just like sign up and go to the show and sit in the audience and get autographs after. So I think I went to his show like 3 or 4 times, and he'd always have guests on. I met like Sammy Watkins, and CJ Spiller was there. So like, it was always cool. You're 10 feet away from these guys, and they just played a game yesterday. So it was cool. It was just a Fred Jackson show. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday nights or something. So that was cool. And then I can't remember the guy's name, but the Bills were playing the Chicago Bears, and
Rex Grossman.
No.
Oh.
Fred Jackson went on like a really it was like a 40-yard run, and he just stiff armed this guy into oblivion. And it was just like the most badass thing I've ever seen. I can picture it, but I can't remember the Chicago player's name. I'll have to look it up, but it was he was just always that hardworking guy that everybody in Buffalo loved.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the definition of that blue collar mentality for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, pure honesty right here. I've never heard of Co-College.
Oh yeah,
no.
Before him, I'd never have either.
Yeah,
but hey, wait, I got it right here. Chris Conti, he just absolutely threw him into oblivion. If you ever after this look it up after the video, it's so cool. He just throws him into the ground and just keeps on trucking.
I will.
I know like we're out here in California. I know the E40 line is rare, like a white running back. I think the proper term should be rare, like a white DB. I know he was a white DB, right?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. I mean, again, man, that's super rare. I mean, was it Jason Sehorn's the other one?
Can you name another?
I don't know.
The dude, Harrison Smith.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm talking about like corner.
Oh no, I can't. I mean, I know there's Ross Blankenship.
No, don't know him. Don't want to know him. The one play that I remember that I just watched and it stood out to me. If you go on YouTube, it's Fred Jackson 80-yard run versus the Giants. And me and G, the one team that we do agree on is the Texas Longhorns. He outruns Aaron Ross, who was a legit track star at Texas. And I mean, Fred Jackson, all-round running back. You watch him running inside, outside, catching passes especially. And that's why when I looked up his team records, he's number 5 in all-purpose yards, number 5 in receptions all time for the Bills, which is pretty impressive.
Him and CJ Spiller were a fun duo for a few years because CJ had a couple of years where he was just a top running back in the league, and Fred was a nice counterpart to him. So those were fun. Fun running back years, not very fun Bills overall.
Yeah, overall season. I'm glad you brought that up, because I always ask if Fred Jackson was Batman, would you say CJ Spiller was his Robin? Is there someone else you could think of?
I think you could even maybe make an argument for 1 year that CJ was Batman, but I think Fred Jackson was kind of, even though CJ put up the big numbers, Fred was kind of that guy looking over his shoulder, being the mentor and being the Batman to the Robin. So I like that analogy.
Just a couple guys I got to bring up when I was looking over that question. Number 1, Stevie Johnson. I mean, Stevie Johnson.
Stevie out in North Bay.
Hey, shout out Stevie. He follows me on Twitter, so I love that guy.
He has some ridiculous highlights, man. I mean, up there with some of the best wide receivers in the league.
Pure route runners in the league.
His release is probably like one of my favorites.
Unbelievable.
He's so fast.
Yeah, he had some time with the 49ers too.
Yeah, he did. I was so pissed when we let him go. I was like, come on, dude. You got to give this guy a burn. Why so serious? I love that for sure, man. Like, he was one of my favorite guys to watch. Not only is because he grew up here in the North Bay for sure, probably like 30 minutes drives away. But his release, like, he beat the DB who was pressing him like on that release, and it's awesome. His feet were so clean. I'm pretty sure he can still run routes today.
Oh yeah,
like he'll give Chad Johnson some, a run for his money when it comes to routes.
Of course, Stevie Johnson. I mean, I don't know what it was. He was a 7th round pick. I mean, he was never really considered that dude. But I mean, if you ask any top DB of that era, they would say Stevie Johnson was a dude out there.
Him and Fitzpatrick were a fun duo in Buffalo for a few years.
You know, Kurt, since you and Stevie are best friends, tell my boy I said what's up, man.
All right. Hey, no, because I was during quarantine, I was doing a thing every day. I would kind of try to spread some positivity. You know, I'd always tweet out a Bills highlight every day. I think I did it for like
a year,
150 days or something.
Yeah.
So I did a few of Stevie Johnson, and I always tagged him, and he would always share it. He'd always kind of retweet it, and then he eventually just followed me back. So it was pretty cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That big flex. I love that.
One more guy I have to bring up because I noticed that they were brought to the Bills the same year. Fred Jackson and then center Eric Wood. I mean, Wood was, of course, drafted 1st round pick, but Fred Jackson came in the same year with him. And pretty much every year that Fred Jackson was getting his 1,000 yards rushing, Eric Wood was there.
And I mean, Eric, you know, Bills didn't always have success with the quarterback position, but Eric was always the true guy that stayed there. And you know, I wish he never had the injury. He had a neck injury that forced him to retire, but he was a great player. I mean, he was always a locker room guy. Him and Kyle Williams were always just the voices of that locker room, and it was fun to see. And you know, Kyle he still does Bills broadcast and everything, so he's still around in Buffalo, and everybody loves him here.
The definition of iron sharpens iron for sure.
Exactly.
With Kyle Williams and Eric Wood. I remember him because I think it was Kyle Williams being top 100, and Eric Wood is being interviewed. He goes, "Man, I hated playing against that guy in practice and just seeing the offensive lineman after Eric Wood after Kyle Williams got done with them." He goes, "That's how I felt every day."
Yeah. One of my favorite moments as a Bills fan was 2017 when they finally clinched the playoff spot and the first time in 17 years. And the video of Kyle Williams in the locker room with his 2 kids on his hips and just crying because they finally did it. And it was just so cool. I mean, the guy worked his entire career, didn't have much success as a team, but you know, it was just that whole everything coming together and having his kids there was pretty cool.
Yep.
So I'm just curious about Fred Jackson. I mean, me and Duran have seen this firsthand with the Niners and Cowboys players. When he suited up for Seattle, how did that make you feel?
It was tough because, you know, I always wanted him to retire a Bill. I always wanted him to stay for the Bills forever. But at the same time, it was, you know what? The Bills aren't going anywhere. Seattle was going on a playoff run. I wanted him to get that playoff experience, and it was, you know, good for you. I was rooting for him. I was rooting for the Seahawks. They didn't get it done, but it was cool to see. You know, it still hurt a little bit, but I always wanted him to sign a 1-day contract and just retire with the Bills, but he never did. So maybe one day.
Surprised.
We'll
rumor has it he still got it. I mean,
he might. Hey,
he never officially retired.
His jump cut was pretty nasty. I don't know.
Hey, speaking of jump cuts, you guys had my boy Frank Gore there for a bit.
Yes.
He had the best jump cut I've ever seen.
Love that guy.
Some of my best friends played rugby and they had the nastiest jump cuts, but it didn't really translate well when it came to their football careers. I love them to death, but that jump cut, it reminds me of so many, you know, rugby jump cuts. Cause as soon as they did it froze the defender. And whenever, you know, Fred Jackson did it and whenever Frank Gore did it, I'm just like, holy shit.
It was dangerous. It was dangerous. It really was. I mean, Frank Gore, you know, Bill's got him at towards the end of his career, but I mean, the things that he did for the locker room was great. I mean, they drafted Devin Singletary. He was a rookie, and to have Frank Gore as your mentor, I don't know a better mentor that's in the league right now. So it was pretty cool.
Everyone got him at the end of his career.
Niners.
He's still going, baby.
He's still going.
We'll see.
He's a free agent, but I feel like somebody's definitely going to bring him in.
I think we've talked about this, me and Gia. I'm on the side of no. I think this is officially it.
I think he should just call it quits, but I don't know if he wants to end it on the Jets. I mean,
that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I think he wants to end it where, you know, the team that took a chance on him when nobody did with the Niners. I mean, I wouldn't mind him just, you know, hey, come in for a 1-day contract. We'll bring in him, Alex Smith. We'll have him start the season, right? We'll have him start the season. Yeah. He'll hand it off to him. He'll throw a pass to him, and then they'll both retire.
Perfect.
Talk right about another Miami draft pick.
Another Miami draft pick.
Yeah, there you go.
Shout out.
Right off into the sunset.
Shout out to you.
Yep. Yeah. Last question I have about players is who was your favorite kick/punt returner in Bills history? You guys got Terrence McGee, Leotis McKelvin, Roscoe Parrish.
Leotis has got a nasty taste in my mouth. He fumbled a kick or a punt return against the Patriots and blew it for us. So not Leotis. It's got to be Roscoe. I mean, Roscoe was just fun, dude, and it was. I think it's kind of because he was one of the first guys that, when I was young. It was. I think I even had a Roscoe Parrish jersey, but like he was just fun. I mean, every single time he touched the ball, you never knew if he was going to take it back, and it's rare. I mean, it really is rare in the NFL to have a guy like that. So definitely, I think it was Roscoe Parrish, number 11.
There you go. Anything else for players?
Yeah. Do you have a player that was underappreciated, under the radar?
Yeah, right now, Jordan Poyer. Jordan Poyer is
great one.
Maybe arguably the best safety in the entire NFL, and he gets no love. I mean, him and Micah Hyde are two of, no doubt, the best safety duos in the league. There's some great ones. I mean, there really are, but just the things that they do and the fact that Jordan Poyer has not been a Pro Bowl player just blows my mind. I mean, there's some great safeties in this league. Don't get me wrong, but every single year he almost leads the league in tackles. He's consistently maybe the most important part of this whole defense. And so Jordan Poyer, no doubt.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. I like that.
I totally agree. It might be just his track record. Cleveland Browns, Bills. I mean, no offense to you, but even growing up, I didn't see many Bills games. Bills are just getting on the rise right now. And so hopefully with the success that they have had recently, Jordan Poyer gets put in that spotlight because he's a player that definitely deserves it.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So moving on to coaches, do you got a favorite coach in mind?
My entire life, my entire life, I had moronic coaches that had no idea what they were doing. Rex Ryan was fun sometimes; he was funny, but no, it's got to be Sean McDermott. He's the only one that I've ever seen success with. So Sean McDermott, thank you.
Sean McDermott. He has the best record since Wade Phillips. That was 20 years ago, 2000. I mean, he's the only one above 500 since then. Rex Ryan, no playoffs. Doug Marrone, no playoffs. Chan Gailey, no playoffs. Dick Duran, no playoffs. I mean, they all had
run through the whole list. We could sit here all night and talk about failed Bills coaches.
I'm skipping Greg Williams, Wade Phillips, So, I think McDermott is the right answer. I mean, you can't go wrong. He's really changed that whole, the whole franchise since
everything that he's done. I mean, he had from the moment he walked in. I mean, he just changed the culture. I mean, him and Brandon Beane, the GM, came in. They said, you know what? You guys finished 9-7. We're going to trade Sammy Watkins. We're going to trade Ronald Darby, two of the most important pieces of the team of last year. We're going to cut Marcel Darius. I think they traded him to Jacksonville, but they just changed everything. They said, we're going to do it our way, and it has worked out, and couldn't be happier.
Exactly. I forget. I mean, McDermott, was it he brought in it as like the second choice? Wasn't there another guy that was?
They had a couple. I think there was. I can't remember. I know Adam Gase was in that list, and I'm so glad that didn't happen. But I know Adam Gase was in the running, but no, Sean McDermott was kind of, I think, their main guy the whole way. Okay. And then they brought in Brandon Beane as well, so it was a nice little duo to bring over from Carolina. Perfect.
Yeah, I didn't have time to look at that, but I just thinking back, I was like, I didn't know if McDermott was their number one choice, but
I think he was. But I just remember Adam Gase was the name, and everybody laughs about it now because it would have been terrible if that was the case.
I know that Keegan Michael Key always get confused for James Franklin at Penn State. Bill Burr, he definitely gets mistaken for Sean McDermott. I mean, I'm a big fan of that dude, not only because, he was a stud playing football. He worked his way up in coaching for sure, but he also, man, he was a wrestler. I mean, a little biased, for sure.
He looks like one.
Yeah, he was. I mean, I got a little cauliflower here. I was a grappler.
There you go. Okay.
So I got a respect for my fellow grapplers. He was a stud. He was like a state champ, undefeated for sure. But man, I mean, as soon as he came over, he changed that whole persona over there at the Buffalo Bills. I think he brought back that like blue collar mentality for sure. And like everyone there is a hard worker. They earned their spot. And like you said, they traded away some players and they did their thing.
Yep. They did it their own way. It was awesome.
I also think he's just building hell of a team. I don't know if Bean has I don't know who's in charge of player personnel there, but it seems like they get great players every year. I mean, they have a vision, they got their quarterback, and now they're kind of stacking guys on there. Starting in 2017, Trey White, Deion Dawkins, Matt Milano. I mean, these guys are all centerpieces of your defense or offensive line. 2018, you got Josh Allen, of course, Tremaine Edmonds, Taron Johnson.
I will admit, not a lot of Bills fans like to admit it, but I will admit, I did not want Josh Allen. I wanted Josh Rosen. I was a big Josh Rosen believer, and I am so glad that I'm not in charge of the Buffalo Bills and Brandon Bean is.
Yeah,
I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah, Battle of the Joshes. Hey, man, way to be humble, man. Appreciate it.
It's on the Niners now. The question I was going to ask you later on down the line is how you felt about that pick. But I'm glad you're honest. I mean, that's why I always like to put my stuff online because you go back and you look at it and you're like, "Woof, I really missed on that guy."
It's funny
I hit on that one. I knew it.
It's funny because draft time's here and everybody's saying, "Oh, this guy's going to be a stud. Oh, this guy's not going to be good." We don't really know. The GMs don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, anything can happen with these prospects and these young draft picks. We can watch all the film we want. We can read all the blogs we want. We don't know. And it's just that's what's awesome about sports is you can just you can't plan for it. And that's just what makes it fun.
Especially it's like the debate this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Especially being part of the public where we don't even get to interview or get the deep information about how intelligent or hardworking these guys. It's if it was that easy, I mean, the draft would be boring. That's why it's so off. That's why it's so awesome. I just want to pick it up. 2019, Ed Oliver, Cody Ford, Devin Singletary. 2020, you didn't have the first round pick, but you did get AJ Epinesa and Zach Moss. I mean, I think it's still up with those two guys, but those are starters every single year. And as a GM head coach, I mean, that's all you could ask for is multiple starters each year. So I'm loving it.
I think Bill Polian said if every year, if you can at least hit on 3 draft picks, if you can get 3 starters out of every draft, you will be set up for success. And that's pretty much what they've been doing. Close enough, at least.
Yep. I just named 4 years of 3 starters. I mean, except for the last year, you didn't have the first round pick, which you would have hit on probably, but just from history.
They got Stephon Diggs for it, so I'll take it.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yep, I totally forgot about that, but which was worth way more than a first round pick. I mean, me and G both. He's one of our favorite receivers in the league. When he was on Minnesota, we always talked about his route running, just mentality.
Didn't he win you the championship?
The ball. Was that?
Didn't he win you the fantasy championship?
He did. Yep.
Him and Josh Allen. Josh Allen are a fun duo.
Yep. He bought me my dog pretty much.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yep, he did.
Yep. We got it. The only last thing I wanted to bring up about McDermott, his coaching tree. I mean, he hasn't had time to kind of hire guys underneath him that have branched out, kind of like an Andy Reid or a Bill Parcells. But the guys that he's worked under, I mean, I think are 2 of the best guys at their side of the ball. Number 1, Ron Rivera. Number 2, Andy Reid. I mean, can you ask for Ron Rivera? I wanted him to be Dallas's coach. I love his defensive knowledge and just the way he leads his team and stuff. And then Andy Reid, I think the past 2 years, at least 3 years, he's been the number 1 offensive dude in the league.
Yeah, I mean the Andy Reid coaching tree just keeps on building every single year. I think we hear, so it's cool to see, and I'm hoping that Sean McDermott's the next guy. They can say, oh, he came from the McDermott coaching tree.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I love what they got now. I mean, I was a little surprised that I thought Brian Dable, the offensive coordinator, was going to leave during this past offseason, but he's sticking around. And so is Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator. So we're getting ready to go on a roll here, boys.
Keep it up.
Man, you guys kept the coaching
good.
staff, man. That's always key.
Yep.
And, looking into it, when I was, like I said, he worked his way from the bottom. He was literally the Dwight Schrute of the coaching tree. He was the assistant to the head coach. So he was assistant to Andy Reid.
Yeah.
He worked his way up from there, being the quality control coach and so on and so forth, position coach in there. And now he's head coach and he's killing it. And it's awesome to see. I love seeing a guy who worked his way from the bottom all the way to the top. So Arthur Smith, Arthur Smith,
exactly.
His dad owns FedEx, and like he straight up worked from the bottom all the way to the top. Now he's the head coach. So
it's easy to root for those kind of guys too.
Exactly.
It's easy to get behind them. So it's cool to see.
On the last Hard Knocks with LA, they showed Sean McVay literally being the ball boy for play. It's like he started from the bottom, like handing guys coffee and getting it's like these guys have worked their way up from the
Everybody's got to start somewhere. It's awesome.
Exactly. Do you have a least favorite coach of all time?
Ooh, least favorite. As fun. Well, I don't want to say Rex. As fun, but I'm going to say Rex, just because the amount of memes and the amount of funny things that we can take away from that season. I mean, he brought over his brother Rob, and it was just, it was a clown show. I mean, it really was. And he bought he got like a custom car. It was like a Bills truck, and it had like a big Bills like logo on the side, everything. It was like up the street from my house at a restaurant. And my dad and I were like, "You want to go?" And we like drove up there, and it was gone. But no, it was it was bad. I mean, the Bills were like kind of mediocre. They were on the rise, maybe a little bit, and he just did not help whatsoever.
I can see that just for how much attention he brings.
Yes,
it's it's the distraction versus the production. It's like it outweighs it. I mean, if you're producing a lot, I'll take a lot of distraction, but.
It was just he was acting like it was like a reality TV show. You just wanted to bring the fun. So I don't know. It's a nice change from Sean McDermott for sure.
Yep.
He definitely wanted to bring in his white turtleneck and sweater vest, and he wanted to eat a snack and everything. Yeah, man. It was just a circus. You know what I mean?
Yes, it was.
Anything else for coaches, G?
No, nothing else. I'm glad we went through Rex Ryan super quick.
We've talked about Rex Ryan for far too long.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. We want to know your earliest memory, and it could be one of the first games you attended. I mean, you were born during a during a Bills game. I was thinking of Rex Ryan, but during a Bills game. Can you think of anything?
I think my first memory, I think, is that Roscoe one. Like, I'm trying to think of I'm at least from the stadium. Like my first memory in the stadium watching a game was probably the Roscoe one. I don't know. I'm trying to think on the fly of my earliest memory. It's kind of tough, but I just remember like it'd be like a Sunday, and it would be, my dad would wake me up and say, "Hey, I got an extra ticket to the game. You want to go?" And it was like Christmas morning, like I get to go to the Bills game. So I remember the feeling of just being little, and I'm sure he probably, he probably liked it, but he probably didn't like that he couldn't party as hard. But it's okay. Now I'm old enough where he's okay to let loose.
Oh yeah.
I think what I remember the most, I mean, this goes back to I've already talked about, speaking of Roscoe Bears, Miami, but they took that chance on Willis McGahee.
Yep.
And I mean, I remember seeing that bowl game where his knee just gets completely ripped apart.
I know, it gives me the shivers every time.
I went back and watched it. Will Allen is actually the guy that does it, who was a long time NFL cornerback. But Will Allen takes out his knee, and and to me, I don't even think it was a dirty hit. It was just very unfortunate, the timing of it and things like that. It's just it could happen this year coming up to any running back.
It could happen That's the nature of the sport. I mean, wrong
Yep.
place, wrong time. You never know who could get hurt, but
Yep.
it gives me the creeps thinking about those kind of injuries.
Never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was a big Miami fan. I remember Willis McGahee.
Yeah.
I remember cheering for him that whole past year.
Yep.
And then the bowl game that happens, and then the Bills take their shot on him. So I think that was my first real Bills memory of selecting a player or a player on the team.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
G, you got any early memories? Eric Molds, Tequila Spikes, those are also guys that I remembered.
I mean, Tequila Spikes is he played for the Niners. The man literally had the whitest neck I've ever seen. But no, I mean, going back to like favorite players during the draft, I mean, I was a huge fan of Lee Evans. I remember whenever he started, he'd always like, how those hands rotated out of Wisconsin. And I was like, man, that guy's going to be a stud. And also Marshawn Lynch, beast mode. That's where he first started.
What about T.O. Terrell Owens coming over to Buffalo?
Guys,
I do remember that. Yep. I remember that.
Yeah. I just remember, what was it on? He had some reality show. He's like, I'm playing for Buffalo. Or was it? Yeah. So it's like, I'm playing for Buffalo. And like his grandma was like, where's that at? So
the guy got a key to the city for the 1 year that he had.
Really?
Great year. Yeah. He got a key to the city to Buffalo.
Yeah.
They just adored him here.
Yeah. I think Marshawn Lynch should get that way before him.
Yeah. Love me some beast mode.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Of course. I mean, I'm not too sure if he had like as famous runs as he did in Seattle.
Yeah.
I remember him as a Seahawk, but
I think that's pretty much what everybody will when he's 10 years down the road, everybody will think of him in the Seahawks. But
yeah,
I know I remember his days in Buffalo wearing the 24 in blue.
Yeah. Did Kyle Williams get a key to the city?
No, he did not.
Oh, come on.
I don't understand. I don't know how you have to be qualified to get a key to the city, but
reality show.
I guess. I don't know. It's just a PR publicity stunt.
Of course it is. Of course.
I think you're next. You're going to the key to the city soon, Kurt.
All right. Hey, if I keep doing this, maybe eventually they'll call me up.
Here we go. Remember us then.
Of course. I'll invite you guys. To a Bills game.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Well, let's move on a little bit to your favorite Bills memory of all time. Does one thing stand out? A playoff win, a comeback, a classic play, draft class?
This past year was the best year that I've had as a Bills fan. Finally winning the division, everything like that. But it's got to be when they finally clinched the playoff spot back in 2017.
Yeah,
they beat the Miami Dolphins. All they have to do is wait to see if the Bengals can take out the Ravens. And, everybody in Buffalo was glued to their TV after the game. And I remember I was standing in my kitchen because it was New Year's Eve. And I was standing in my kitchen and Andy Dalton drops back, finds Tyler Boyd. Yep. He gets the first down. That's all we needed. And then he keeps running and he gets the touchdown. And we just went nuts. And it was one of the best feelings I've ever had. And then I got to go because Buffalo has a big ball drop for New Year's, of course. So I got to go downtown and, this was pre-COVID, the good old days. So everybody was packed wearing their Bills stuff, going absolutely crazy. It was like we won the Super Bowl, but we literally just clinched a wild card spot. So that was definitely my number one Bills memory.
Yeah, that's funny.
To Dalton's foundation.
Yes, yes. I mean, I don't know the exact number that he reached, but Bills Mafia donated a lot of money to him, and it was pretty.
You guys did it again this year to someone's foundation.
Right? Donated to Lamar Jackson because he got hurt in the playoff game. So
that's right.
Beat him, but they said, "Hey, we kind of feel bad, so we'll give you some money." So
yeah. Was that the first donation or mass donation thing?
The Andy Dalton was, that was kind of where it started, and then it's happened a couple times. It happened to Lamar Jackson, and then it was JJ Watt this past offseason. People were donating to his charity to convince him to come to Buffalo.
I love it.
Didn't work out, but they did a good thing. They donated to charity, so.
It's funny because you're bringing up a game that didn't really even involve you guys. I mean,
oh, I know. Yeah. My favorite memory is a Bengals Ravens game.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, and that was McDermott's first year. I mean, you guys knew that things were changing almost immediately. Of course, Bengals beating the Ravens. You guys get the wild card spot. I remember that. I remember the whole thing, the stories the next day about Andy Dalton's charity hitting $1 million or whatever the hell.
And then he came to Buffalo the next year. Cincinnati was in Buffalo, and everybody gave him a standing ovation. He came out into the field and gave us a wave and everything. It was pretty cool. Rooting for the opposite quarterback.
Yep. Yeah. One game that I did want to bring up, I watched the replay and it was just amazing, was Kyle Williams' last game versus Miami. I mean, Miami's in your guys' division, so that makes it even that much better. But they line him up at fullback. He catches the pass in the flat, of course, and then they do the epic send-off for him. I mean, the stadium goes wild. Does it get much better than that?
Yeah, I mean, I remember being in the stadium, and it was just kind of like it was a weird feeling, because it was like, is this really it? Is this the last time we're seeing him coming off the field?
You were there.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was just like it was a loud cheer, but it was almost just like a sad cheer. It was like, please don't go. But it was, I mean, we love Kyle. I love Kyle Williams.
One game I remember, if I was catching it correctly, I don't know if it was a highlight, if I don't remember if I was watching it live, but was it Jay Cutler he picked off against the Bears?
Yes.
That was his first interception.
You just uncovered a memory I forgot I had. He did have an interception. I think it was Jay Cutler. And I think, it was the same game I was talking about with the Fred Jackson stiff arm against Chicago. There was an interception, Kyle Williams interception. Wow, you just pulled that memory deep out of my head. That's awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
And because Kyle also had he had a rushing touchdown against Miami in Miami. They gave him a rushing touchdown, and they had this cool celebration in the end zone. So it was pretty. I mean, who's going to tackle Kyle Williams if he's got the ball? I don't know who's tackling him. I mean, he's a 300-pound dude running straight at your face.
Exactly. The other game that I wanted to bring up, I know it's really recent, is the 2017 the snow game versus the Colts.
Yes.
And I mean, all I could remember really is watching LaShawn McCoy run through the snow. And I remember thinking like, damn, he's actually doing pretty damn good in the snow for how it was probably 8 to 12 inches high at that point.
I think I still have frostbite from that game. I think
you're there too.
I think my fingers are still frozen, but it was my dad and I, we were debating. We were like, do we really want to go to this game? I mean, it was the game. You know, we were still in a playoff race, but we didn't know if we wanted to sit in the snow, but I'm glad we did. And it was unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, growing up in Buffalo, I've seen snowstorms, but that was wild. And it was cool. I mean, you could barely see the players, but they were just having fun out there. I mean, that's just like playing in the backyard with your friends. Like when you used to have a big snowstorm. Well, you guys are from California. You guys back here, over here in Buffalo, we whenever there's a big snowstorm, we always go out and play snow football.
Yeah, the Bills started Nathan Peterman that game. He got concussed. In comes Joe Webb. I mean,
I think Tyrod Taylor got hurt that game too. So yeah,
Joe else?
Webb came in. Tyrod Taylor got hurt that game too, I think. So then Joe Webb came in and led us to victory.
Yep.
I have a question about Tyrod. I mean, I've always been a fan of him, but seeing him now, is he the good luck Chuck of quarterbacks?
He just seems like, I mean, I don't know. It's tough though, because he's had a tough run. I mean, I love the guy. He's one of my favorite players of all time, just what he did for the team. But he comes to Buffalo. He does great. They draft Josh Allen. He gets benched, then he gets traded. He goes to Cleveland. He starts. He gets hurt. They draft Baker Mayfield. They play Baker. They cut Tyrod. Tyrod goes to the Chargers. He's about to start, then the freak injury with the injection into the lungs or whatever. Then Justin Herbert comes in, and now he's in Houston, and it looks like he might start in Houston with everything going on with Deshaun Watson. But I don't know. I feel bad for him that he hasn't, gotten his shot to start. But he's got talent. He really does. He might not light up the league, but he can definitely win some games for whatever team he's on.
Yeah, I've been a huge fan of him back to his Virginia Tech days when he played against that bowl game against Harbaugh and Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him seeing spin and throwing the ball on a dime.
Yep.
And him arguing with Harbaugh. He goes, dude, I think I was in. He goes, yeah, you were. And I was like, oh, shit. This guy's a stud.
He was fun to watch, man. He was kind of the first, dual threat dynamic quarterback that the Bills ever had. So it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Ready to move on, G?
Yeah, let's go on to kind of the lower side.
Yeah, well, we know it's not all comebacks and victories and snow games. Do you have a worst memory being a Bills fan? I mean, I think the older fans would say the 4 Super Bowls, but I don't think you quite remember those.
Yeah,
no, I don't.
Nathan Peterman, so
Nathan Peterman 5 interception game. That was
wow.
That was
Wasn't
one
it
of
half?
the dark
5 interception half.
5 interceptions in the first half.
Wow.
The first half he had 5.
Impressive.
That was yeah, you really have to try to do that, honestly.
Yeah.
But that was, I might deem that one of the worst just because it was such a dark time in Bills Mafia. It was like, you have Tyrod, you have Nathan Peterman. You give Peterman the start and he throws 5 interceptions and you get absolutely embarrassed by the Chargers. And the season didn't end up great. And it was a really bad time for Bills fans. So Nathan Peterman 5 interception game, probably one of my worst memories, but there's been a good handful of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy being in the same division as the Patriots, especially the last 20 years. I mean,
Tom Brady has tortured me my entire life. So I am so glad to see him in a different uniform.
Exactly. I completely understand what, that hasn't always been the strongest division, but come on, being one of those other teams, it's like you kind of feel like you didn't even have the chance to get him.
It's unfair, it really is.
And done.
But it's funny because, Brady's gone and I always hated him. I couldn't stand him. Now he's in Tampa Bay. It's like, I don't like him, but like I was kind of rooting for him in this past Super Bowl. So because I was able to work the Super Bowl in Tampa this year. So I was there.
That's awesome.
I really wanted the home team to win because I wanted to see the city. So I was like, I can't believe I'm rooting for Tom Brady here. This feels sacrilegious or something.
Yep. That's how I feel with Carson Wentz now.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Let him do his thing.
Right.
That's why I was hoping that Russ Wilson would just leave the NFC West.
Then you could root for him.
Right.
One bad memory I want to bring up. Sorry, but it's
okay.
The 2019 the wild card loss to the Texans. Speaking of Deshaun Watson, I mean, me and G, we just both watched the end of that game recently, and the Bills got the ball back late in the 4th. They got the turnover on the downs, though. Josh Allen then comes back. He did the crazy lateral that was kind of like Reggie Bush in the national championship game. But you guys kept the ball back on that one, kicked the field goal. It goes into overtime. And then I feel like it just went crazy. Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen making ridiculous plays. But the Texans end up kicking the game winner. How'd you feel about that game, man?
The Peterman one was bad, not because of it was bad. The 5 interceptions is embarrassing, but just the overall vibe of the team was bad at the time. So it was dark. That game was just killer because it was like, yes, we're in the playoffs again, and we got our quarterback that's coming around. But it was just heartbreaking. I mean, it really was. They were up by so many points at half, and there was that. I don't know if you guys remember that the kickoff at halftime. After halftime, it was the guy. I forget who it was for the Texans, but he caught it, and he kind of just threw it at the ref, and it should have been.
Oh yeah,
recovery and a touchdown, but they called it just like pretty much like he knelt it. So
yep, it was controversial.
It was It was an ugly game, but you know what? That's what made the playoffs this past year just so much more sweeter.
Exactly. I was going to bring up the Chiefs game last year. I mean, I know it sucked losing to the Chiefs, but I mean, you guys had the early lead, but then you didn't really have a chance after that. I mean,
I thought you were going to bring up the Hail Murray.
Hail Murray.
Oh man, touchy subjects all around. No, that's okay. It's okay because you know what? After that, I think they won 9 games in a row or something.
Yes, they did.
But the Chiefs one is going into the game. I'm an optimistic Bills fan, but it's you got to be realistic. You're going up against Patrick Mahomes. You're going up against the reigning Super Bowl champions. You got smacked earlier in the year by them. Be optimistic, but don't be overly optimistic. So I wasn't expecting to really put a beat down on the Chiefs, but It hurt, but you know what? I mean, we made it further than we have in 20 years, so it was fun. I can't complain at all.
Did you have any complaints about Diggs watching the celebration? I know the media tried to make that a big deal.
No, I thought it was. I mean,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
the mindset on that guy, I just feel like he's going to come out and have 8,000 receiving yards and 40 touchdowns because he just wants it. He wants it so bad. So I
totally agree.
It was cool to see. It was sad though. It was sad, and I wanted to go out there and give him a hug and tell him it's okay.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, like Duran was mentioning earlier, he's one of our favorite receivers.
Mm-hmm.
When he first got traded, I remember like I had my thoughts, and I texted Duran. I was like, "What do you think about this trade?"
Yeah.
And Josh Allen isn't known to be accurate, but I don't know what happened this year. He just turned it on.
Yes,
and it was an excitement to see. I don't know if it was a work with Stephon Diggs in the offseason, but man, like he improved so much, and I love to see it.
Diggs is just one of the most QB friendly receivers you could possibly have.
Yeah.
He could run any route. He gets separation. He could run a slant. He could run a go. He could do it all, and that's what you guys really needed. And he's there now. I think you guys need a couple more targets to kind of spread.
I heard he wanted to play with his brother in Dallas. I don't know if that's
yeah, I'm sure.
Do we have room?
I think his brother wants to come to Buffalo now.
There you go.
You guys lost Norman. So.
I know. That's why we need him. Bring him over opposite Trey White. Hell yeah, that's a nasty duo.
That's a nasty.
I wanted the Bills to draft Diggs really bad last year. I thought he would have been a perfect fit for this defense, but Dallas swooped him up right before we did.
I'm liking him so far. I feel like he got fed to the fire last year. But you can only get better from there facing all those number one wide receivers.
Exactly.
And I mean, if you're going against your brother Stephon Diggs, you have no chance. You have no choice but to get better.
Yeah. So we're talking about the draft right now. I mean, Duran, I don't know if you want to kind of bury this guy with recent
let's move on. Let's talk about
let's talk about future expectations for sure. When it comes to the fifth-year option, I know that the Panthers just picked up Sam Darnold. Tramon Williams, are you guys going to pick his up, or do you guys think you guys are going to extend him first? What's the situation?
Tremaine Edmonds?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think, he's had a rough couple of years, but a thing to remember is they drafted him as a teenager. He came into the NFL and was told to be a middle linebacker of an NFL defense, be the quarterback of a defense as a teenager. And a lot of people are expecting a lot from him this year, and I think this is the year where he kind of explodes. I think he comes out and he says, this is my team. Bills re-signed Matt Milano, another great linebacker, a great defense. This is the year that I think we see Tremaine Edmonds take this league by storm, and I can't wait for it. So I think they will pick up his fifth year. I mean, they traded back into the first round to get him, so I think they want to keep him around and re-sign their own guys.
Yeah, I'm definitely here for it. I mean, watching him, he was just a freak, and I think it was him that got his brother drafted in the first round for sure. But like seeing him, like he was a freak of nature coming out of Virginia Tech, and he got drafted earlier. Kind of similar situation that Trey Lance is in. I mean, makes me feel old knowing that this guy was born in 2000 or in 2021, and he's like 19 right now.
Right.
So it's pretty crazy. So man, that's nuts. I wish nothing but the best for Edmonds for sure.
Well, this year you guys got the 30th overall pick. You got 3 in the top 100. Is there a direction you want to go here? Maybe add a couple more weapons for Josh Allen, maybe some offensive linemen to protect him.
Before that,
go ahead, G.
You guys got a weapon in Manny Sanders.
Yes.
What a slide. I mean, in my opinion, I love John Brown. I wanted him for the Niners for sure. But he went to I almost said Oakland. He went to the Vegas Raiders.
Yep, Vegas.
Honestly, I think you guys might have upgraded to Manny Sanders.
I think so. I mean, Emmanuel Sanders is one of the pure best route runners in the league. Still, I mean, he's on the other side of 30, sure, but he still produces. He's been around the block. He's played with all the great quarterbacks in the league. So I'm pumped for that. But
What did you just call Jimmy G the greatest quarterback in the league?
No,
I heard it.
No.
He said it.
They're getting Justin Fields, and they'll be just fine with.
Oh, let's go.
But no, for the Bills at 30, I think there's really two position groups that you look at, and it's cornerback because they need a number 2 behind Trey White. They have Levi Wallace. He's been a nice piece, but if they can get a true shutdown at number 2, that would be great. They do need to get pressure on the quarterback though. So I don't personally love this edge rusher class. There's a few really nice pieces, but I don't know if they're going to be there at 30. So maybe they wait until later in the draft if they don't love one of the top guys. But I love this lineman draft. Offensive linemen are awesome, and you can never go wrong with that. It's always a safe bet. You can always use offensive linemen. And the Bills have a couple holes to fill. I mean, they re-signed 2 of their guys on the offensive line, but you can never go wrong. And I really, really love the offensive linemen in this draft. So, that's probably the three positions I would think they would look at, obviously, depending on how the board falls.
Do you have a draft crush? I mean, it looks like Caleb Farley's following with his back injury.
Yeah. I mean, I think my draft crushes are in the cornerback room. I love I love Ronnie Perkins too, the defensive end. I think he's great, but there's a lot of good corners in this draft. I mean, Asante Samuel Jr., I love that. I would love that at 30. Like you said, Caleb Farley.
Kelvin Joseph out of Kentucky.
Yep. Ifeatu Melifonwu out of Syracuse. He was just on my podcast at 7:00 earlier tonight. So he's
awesome.
He's supposed to be, maybe around a second round pick. So there's a lot of cornerbacks in this draft. This is a deep class for corners for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. Do you have a cornerback 1 in this draft?
It's it was Caleb Farley for a little bit, but I think Patrick Surtain is going to be a beast, and I think he would look. Even though I don't love the jerseys, I think he would look good in a Dallas blue, but wearing the star on the side of his head. But yeah, I think Patrick Surtain probably is the number 1. It's tough though. I mean, like I said, this is a deep class, and I think there's going to be a lot of good corners that come out of this draft. I think we're going to look back in 5 years and remember this draft for sure.
I hope so.
You mentioned the O-line. Is there a position on the O-line where it needs more help than the other, whether inside or tackle?
For the Bills, are you talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they have their left tackle, Deion Dawkins. They have a great center, one of the best pass blocking centers in Mitch Morse, and they just re-signed Darrell Williams at right tackle. So they have those 3 positions set. The guard positions are a little iffy. They re-signed John Feliciano this year, but I think he's upgradable, which is why I think that they could go offensive guard in the first round. I would love it. I think that there's some really, really good guards in this draft, and they do have Cody Ford, who they drafted 2 years ago, second round pick. He's been injured. We're hoping that, he can kind of come to his own and live up to his draft stock. But like I said, I think.
Didn't you guys just pick up Lamp?
Yes. Yeah, they did. Forrest Lamp. They just signed him today. So they've signed a lot of guys, a lot of depth pieces that I think they're going to be going into camp with some good competition, which I like.
Yeah. Also got your boy, Matt Breida.
Yes.
I know they did.
You got the speedster. I love it.
I'm excited for him. I mean, it was definitely like a necessary move when the Niners moved on for him. Mm-hmm. It wasn't really utilized correctly in Miami. So I mean, he's going to be that rotational guy, like how he was with the Niners. You got Zach Moss, you got Singletary. Now you got Breida. That's a solid running back.
It reminds me a lot of the 49ers team. Oh, you got a nice little dog making a cameo. I love it.
Shout
out to Tiggs. Paid for that dog.
Yeah, that's right. But the Bills running back room kind of reminds me a lot of the 49ers when they went to the Super Bowl, because it's Devin Singletary who's going to make you miss in a phone booth, but maybe doesn't have that breakaway speed. But Matt Breida's got that breakaway speed, and Zach Moss will put his head down and run right through your gut. So it reminds me a little bit of like the 49ers, except for the Bills are more of a pass heavy team for sure.
Yeah. One thing I liked about Singletary, I mean, I don't think he was my running back number 1 in that draft. I think he was like 1B. Mm-hmm. One thing that was brought to my attention is that he breaks a lot of tackles. Like it's not like people will bounce off him. He's more like a ping pong ball or a pinball. Like he'll bounce off with tacklers.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something exciting to see. And he's coming into his own for sure. And then you guys even brought that. Speaking of rugby players, you guys brought in that rugby player who's
Christian
he's
Wade.
still on your guys' squad for sure, right?
He is, yeah. The from Britain. So yeah, running back now, but ex rugby player. So it's kind of cool. He had I think it was 2 years ago, two preseasons ago, against the Colts. He had like a big like 80-yard run, and everybody was going crazy. Oh, we got our new running back one, but I don't know. We'll see if he cracks the roster this year.
Yeah, we were talking about sports that translate better and it varies in position, and I think running back when it comes to that translates best from that
for sure,
no doubt.
But yeah, man, I'm just like thinking of the draft prospects you guys can bring in. You guys really have a strong defense.
That's the good thing too about the Bills is usually we're getting ready for the draft. We're saying there are some glaring holes here, here. There really aren't too many glaring holes. I mean, CB2, it's a need. It's not a glaring need. I mean, edge rusher, not a glaring need. They drafted AJ Epinesa last year. Just since they've re-signed their guys, they really don't have any huge holes. So it's fun. I mean, they can just go best player available.
What about trading up to get Micah Parsons? Have that linebacker room just be freaks.
I would love Micah Parsons, but he's going top 10, and trading up into the top 10 would cost a pretty penny.
I pray he goes top 10. Keep letting those guys fall to Dallas.
There you go. No, I think
quarterbacks, wide receivers.
If Micah Parsons would have played a full year and had a good year, he would have been a top 5 pick. I really think that he is. I love the guy. I really do. And it's kind of crazy that he's not getting as much hype as he should.
Do you have a sleeper in the draft at all?
Ooh, a sleeper. Okay. Let me run through here because actually the wide receivers, we talked about, last year's the wide receiver class was deep, and this year it might be even better. I mean, this year I think you could find guys number 1 all the way to number 20. I mean, that's
going to be a trend moving forward.
Yes. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, a guy like Amari Rodgers from Clemson, I really love. Rondale Moore is probably my love. I love
him. Yep, love him.
I kind of wish that the Bills needed a wide receiver because
he's a little small.
Yeah, like he would fit in perfect. And if he's sitting there, I'm not gonna say no to taking him. Nothing like having an embarrassment of riches at wide receiver.
Yeah,
I'm that luxury. I mean, my sleeper for receiver is I said this earlier. No, I'm not being biased, but at the X receiver position is Brennan Eagles from Texas.
Okay, yeah.
He catches everything.
Yep.
I feel like he was very underutilized in Tom Herman's offense, and just seeing that guy get open. Whenever he got open, he put hands on the ball.
Yep.
His hands kind of remind me of James Prochet, who was in the draft last year. I mean, everything that came his way, he would catch it. But yeah, he's obviously way taller than Prochet. I think he's like 6'5", 6'3". Yep. In between that range, and he's kid's a stud for sure.
Yeah.
I think I only got one more question.
All right,
and you got anything else, G?
Not at the moment, man.
You got it. I mean, number 1, what's your favorite part about having McDermott as your head coach? And number 2, how satisfied are you with Brandon Beane's drafting? I mean, it seems like he's hitting, and I don't think you can go get much better than what you guys are doing now.
You guys still got cap room too.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'll hit on the Brandon Beane one first, just because I love the dude. And going into this offseason, it was not a lot of cap room. The cap is dropping. The Bills are going to have to decide: do they want to re-sign their starting right tackle and Darrell Williams? Do they want to re-sign Matt Milano? And Brandon Beane says, guys, don't worry about it. I'm going to re-sign all of them. I'm going to bring back our linebackers and our wide receivers and our cornerbacks. Brandon Beane has done some incredible things with this roster. And, even an underrated signing like a Forrest Lamp today. I mean, it was just he seems to find the value. He seems to bring in the 1-year deal, prove it deals, and they prove it. And he likes to re-sign his own guys. He says that's kind of his focus is, draft, re-sign our guys, keep them in-house, and build from there. So he's done a great job. And just, I can't say enough about what Sean McDermott has done. I mean, just the absolute family culture that he's built with this team. People can say culture is overrated. it's really not, because players see it from other teams, players see it within their own team, and they buy into it. They want to be a part of it, and they just want to play their asses off for their coach that they love, and they can tell that their coach loves them too. So, just a family culture that he's built for this team.
Bringing in free agents.
Yeah.
Helps.
Yeah. Guys like Emmanuel Sanders, literally, he said on his off days, he would watch highlights of Buffalo Bills and say, I want to play for that quarterback. So, something like that. It's different. It's a different time because we're not used to
one thing I did want to bring up. I feel like Emmanuel Sanders is best in the slot. I mean, you guys got your slot dude there. Do you think there's going to be, are you going to move him outside? What's the deal going to be there?
Well, because, you got Stephon Diggs as number one, and you got rookie Gabriel Davis, who really lit it up last year in his rookie season. He came in and he produced. I think he had 5 or 6 touchdowns, and he seemed to be a very reliable target. So if you stick him on the outside, you can run four wide receiver sets. You can put Cole Beasley in the slot. You can put Sanders in the slot. There's a lot of different things that you can do. And then with the trio of running backs that they have, I don't know who defenses are going to cover, but this Bills offense is looking pretty lethal.
Got anything else, man? If you want to stick around a little bit after, that'd be great. But go ahead and plug your work and where everyone can find you again.
Yeah, sure. You guys can find me at Kurt, Kurt Haumesser, Haumesser 88. All the Bills stuff that you could ever want and dream. I hope I turn some people, some listeners into Bills fans. Join me on there, and keep an eye out for my work with Buffalo Rumblings and my podcast, the Laces Out podcast. But I appreciate you guys having me on. I love talking Bills, so this is a lot of fun.
Hey, nothing like drinking beer and talking football, man. That's what fans do for sure.
Exactly.
You can follow us on Twitter at Why We're Fans Pod. You can hit like and subscribe on our channel on YouTube. That'd be great. Again, thank you so much for joining this podcast. I think that was so awesome.
Yeah.
Duran, anything else before we sign off?
Yeah, one more question. Do you want to bring back Josh Norman?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I want the Bills to draft somebody. They got a 7th round pick, Dane Jackson from last year, that really played well. So Josh Norman can move on. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Yep. How you doing? Keep it moving.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Until next time.
Thanks, guys.
Later.